Thank you so much for tuning in to WCTV. I'm Nikki McCallum here on behalf of the Vermont Film Festival. And today I'm so excited to have with me the very funny Dory Hamm and Wyndham Maxwell. And we're here to talk about your film, New Clothes, which is amazing. I saw it. I loved it. I'm obsessed. And Dory, you both are actors in the film.
Correct.
And Dory, you also produced the film.
Yep.
And Wyndham, my understanding is that you also co-directed and co-wrote the film as well.
That's true.
So amazing. So would love for you to tell our viewers a little bit about New Clothes and the inspiration for the film.
Sure. Well, actually, it came from a play version. We had planned actually to tour it, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, that pandemic.
Yeah, we should probably start by saying we are a theater company primarily, and we started in 2018. We've been touring a show around Vermont every summer since 2018.
And that's the Vermont Suitcase Company?
Vermont Suitcase Company.
I couldn't help but notice they're matching shirts.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Vermont-
Yeah, well, we got we tour out of old suitcases, very much kind of in an old sort of old Shakespearean style theater company, kind of patched and tattered curtains, patched and tattered costumes, and we are always having a little entourage of puppets, so a half human, half puppet world we exist in.
Exactly. So yeah, we during the pandemic we started throwing around ideas for a movie because we wanted to do something, and it actually took us longer to get it together before we. The pandemic was starting to fade out, I guess, by the time we did it, But yeah, we were like, we want to make a movie, but we want to do it in our theater style, which is very kind of scrappy and handmade. So there's a lot of cardboard, a lot of, the costumes are all, made by our wonderful designers. And then we filmed it all in one apartment in downtown Brattleboro over 7 days.
Yep.
That's unbelievable. So filmed in Vermont, and I can't... When you see this film, you're not going to believe that it was filmed in an apartment. It's so visually amazing.
Thank you.
In fact, I'd love to take a look at the trailer.
Sure.
Absolutely.
That's right.
What a way to greet the day! Elegant, attractive, chic.
It's not only in season, it's in bloom. This is a fabric only seen by those who are truly fashioned.
It's just my outfit, and I haven't even made any decisions yet.
What's inside this letter? Something about the Caramelli or the Capelli twins?
The Capellis. The Capellis?
So Mr. Gerard is lying to the king.
Fraud! Fraud? I knew you were a fraud.
I'm the real liar.
What am I supposed to do with this? Yes, sir. Quite high, quite tight.
Like a legend.
Are we friends?
I'm built for cake.
This stuff is what I've been eating my whole life.
We're not so different in that way.
I'm worried about how the fun's going. I like it like this.
Stop.
I couldn't have worn it better myself.
Amazing. So I'd love to hear a little bit about, because you started off as a theater company.
Sure.
What were some of the challenges transitioning from the world of stage to the screen?
Well, we're like a very commedia dell'arte in nature. A bunch of folks trained professionally and are doing the professional thing in New York, and then others train professionally and then return to Vermont to be theater teachers and be local artists. So we very much were all trained in this kind of over-the-top stage style of theater, but with some of us also getting some film training. So it was just sort of more of a drawing back, because our style is very big and theatrical, which you do get in the film. You get a little bit of that taste of that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was an interesting shift. It really was like a pulling back.
Yeah, because we wanted to preserve our style, and I think we did. but yeah, it's a different medium. We tried to bridge that a little bit by having like a 2-week rehearsal process and actually rehearsing it like a play.
Oh, wow.
So that and we, it was easy to do that because we were just in one apartment. So we, took those 2 weeks to really block out the scenes, and so that was also, an adaptation to the fact that we only had 7 days to shoot. So we knew we were going to have maybe 1, maybe 2 takes for everything. So, we wanted to be kind of locked and loaded once the cameras were rolling. And I think that kind of made it possible.
Yeah.
I don't know if we would have been
Yeah,
able to do
yeah.
it otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. Wyndham, I'd love to hear a little bit about the writing process because it's 7 actors in the film?
7 actors, and 4 of which also wrote and
Okay, that
co-directed.
Yes, yeah. So, we did it with 4 writers. We're pretty used to writing collaboratively, but I don't think any of us, I think I'm right in saying this, that none of us had written a feature-length screenplay before. And so, I think the idea was that we would all be able to support each other in doing that. And there's so many great things about collaborating, and I think you get such a fascinating and nuanced project out of having a bunch of people in the room, which I know they do in TV shows and all kinds of things. It did take a really long time, because when you got 4 people kind of just nitpicking over very specific things. But so we did like an initial in person, because this was still during the pandemic, all getting together in an apartment, and then it was just a lot of Zoom meetings and really reworking story and then eventually kind of splitting things up and coming back together, workshopping everything. But it took us a long time. I think it was a good 9 months that we spent writing it. Yeah.
Just in the writing process. And
Yeah.
what was it like shooting this in Dory's apartment with 7 actors and a crew?
I mean, yeah, it was. We had kind of we were right above Main Street in Brattleboro, Vermont, it's called the Italian American Building. We had a great support from our landlord and our neighbors, and we managed to just kind of ask them if we could borrow their space for the better part of this week. Sandy, Sandy Klein, one of the other founding members of Vermont Suitcase, and was the doing kind of set and props, costumes for it. And she's also the maker of all the puppets. Was her and I, it was our apartment, so we were able to start moving things out way before and shifting things around so we could set up the 2-week rehearsal process, which then allowed it all to happen. But it was such very much a village to make a film.
Yeah.
We brought on so many of our friends who are in the film industry. We are all kind of actually associated with these 2 clowns named Steven Stearns and Peter Gould, who toured the state of Vermont for the better part of 30 years. Steven Stearns kind of founded the New England Youth Theater in Brattleboro, Vermont, and Peter Gould founded the Get Thee to the Funnery camps in northern Vermont, both of which still exist 25 years later. And all of us were students either of these 2 teachers or of both of them. So we kind of had this greater language. And so we were bringing in actors, and all of us were trained there before we went on to get more formal training. So we had this really good bedrock of communication and a way to talk about and think about comedy that was very similar.
Yeah.
So when we were all working on the actual film, we bringing in our friends. It was I think Jerry doing sound was 73 at the time.
Wow.
Sandy was in her 60s, and then we had a couple of interns, current students of ours from the youth theater that were 15, 16. I think Django was the youngest.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it really was like a multi-gen, multi-communal project. But we also had a lot of really professional film crew working on it. Kaylin and Asia Selbach, who were our cinematographers, former students of ours who are in the industry. We had PJ Hand come in, who just was one of our grips, so also a professional grip in the industry. And the brothers brought in a bunch of their friends who are also in the industry to work with our local crew.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I know that New Clothes is screening this afternoon at the Pentangle Theater. What's next for the project?
What's next for Suitcase?
Yeah, well, for new clothes, I mean, we're hoping at some point we do have some interest around Vermont in touring the film to theaters. You know, we're looking at probably definitely the Latches in Brattleboro is, would like to do a screening of it. And when we were on tour with our play this summer, we talked to a couple other venues. We do a lot of granges and town halls, and a couple of those were interested in maybe having a screening of it. So we're thinking of doing kind of like a tour around Vermont,
tour,
just
yeah,
like
the way we do with our theater company.
Yeah.
I love that. And
Yeah.
where is the Vermont Suitcase Company performing next? I think you said you just got back from a
Sure,
tour.
yeah,
Is there another one?
Yeah, we do 2 tours a year. We do a summer tour in July, usually the last 2 weeks in July, and then we do a winter tour, usually kind of the 2 middle weeks in December. So our winter tour is what's called a one curtain tour. It's 4 actors, kind of our center curtain and a bunch of puppets. And it's our story of King Wenceslas, which is just like the song King Wenceslas, but it is our version, not historically accurate. And December will be our next Vermont Suitcase tour. But I think in November, we're talking about possibly doing the film tour, just bringing new clothes around the state.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm so happy I got to meet you both.
Yeah,
Thank you,
And
Nikki.
Dory and Wyndham, thank you so much. Check out New Clothes. Keep an eye out for it. And thanks for tuning in.
Thanks so much.
Thanks.